Right, well, welcome everyone. Great that you're here. Lovely that you join in this Master Teacher Tape Group, the second edition, and it's really lovely to continue because the talk that we're using in this series is of such an order that you don't want to miss out on any of it. So, in fact, what we do here is stretching it into I don't know how many episodes, while it's actually one talk of 3.5 hours or something. It's like it's one talk, and we stretch this out over weeks and moments together, preparing ourselves to listen to this by meditation, by taking a look at some of the expressions already before you hear it. And it's like, wow, and I never went through Master Teacher tapes like this before. I listened to them, but never really dissected it as the way that I've done it now. And so that's a beautiful new way of, in fact, going into every aspect of it and say stretching it out sufficiently so that you can actually hear what it says. And then you discover, oh, there's so much to listen to, there's so much to discover. In fact, every step along the way is confirming what you've heard before, but it's like it's confirming, yes, let go. Oh, there's no reason to hold on to that. Or there's like, look at this, look at that. Can you hear this? You go into a whole different way of listening to Master Teacher altogether. And that's a joyous occasion. So it's like no other reason to do it than to increase the joy and the freedom and happiness that is inherent in you. Now opening that up, not having any kind of hesitation in that, but seeing that you're being invited wholeheartedly to release the ideas about yourself, your concerns, and all this on a moment by moment basis. So that's so great and so lovely. Now we do that today starting also with a meditation and taking time to become totally still and tapping into the peace that passes understanding, like the deep peace within you that is available. It's available just by you releasing everything else and relaxing into this moment and allowing that to be complete. And today, what is salvation but that? It is what salvation is. Releasing your ties to the world, releasing your associations with the world, seeing that when he uttereth his voice, the earth melteth. This is one of the Bible expressions, but I love that. It's like if the voice is speaking to you, there's nothing left of this world. So we start with what is salvation, then the last 3 paragraphs we actually take a look at and use that as a means to become still and to actually realize what is given. And when I say realize, it's not a mental activity, but actually allow it to be an experience of this is given, and it's beautiful, it's innocent, it's light, it's love, and I didn't have to do anything for that. It is given to me. Salvation is undoing, in the sense that it does nothing, failing to support the world of dreams and malice. Thus, it lets illusions go by not supporting them. It merely lets them quietly go down to dust. and what they hid is now revealed. An altar to the holy name of God, whereon His word is written, with the gifts of your forgiveness laid before it, and the memory of God not far behind.
Let us come daily to this holy place and spend a while together. Here we share our final dream. It is a dream in which there is no sorrow, for it holds a hint of all the glory given us by God. The grass is pushing through the soil. The trees are budding now, and birds have come to live within their branches. Earth is being born again in new perception. Night has gone, and we have come together in the light. From here we give salvation to the world, for it is here salvation was received. The sun of our rejoicing is the call to all the world that freedom is returned, that time is almost over, and God's Son has but an instant more to wait until His Father is remembered. Dreams are done. Eternity has shined away the world, and only heaven now exists at all.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in the beautiful What is Salvation meditation. And this is lovely. So it's like this section of the workbook is really like a beautiful prayer book where you daily can come to like the most incredible prayers to remind you of your whole-mindedness, to remind you of your Christ essence. And so that is the occurrence here too. It's like we bring that back as a memory, as a present memory, and that's amazing. So that's everything else falls away, everything related to time falls away. Now with Master Teacher and his tape and the tape that we're going to listen to, I want to say take a look at aspects of it, and there are many of them. So in this little tape, I think I got like 14 sheets. I don't know what I do with it, but we'll make a start with it and see what occurs. But just because of the loveliness, so we don't have to stand too long still with them. But it's more like here's some great reminders that and share it in a way that is so clear and pure that you want to receive that. You want to hear that. So the title is Wake Up in Heaven. At least that's the title I made of it, of this episode. And just because everything, like that's the main occurrence in the story here. You are a miracle. You are God creating. You are God creating. I can't show you what love is, because that is what you are. I can show you what the obstacle is, and that's you, your perceptual association, and the way that you describe yourself, the way that you see yourself, the way that you define yourself. How simple then is salvation? If that's the only obstacle there is, it's like that's you and your perceptual association. You keep associating yourself in time and space, and that is the obstacle. And as soon as you stop doing that, something occurs. There's no such thing as the past. No matter how tempted you are to believe that time, as you have invented it in your mind, is sequential, and thinking that it is in a certain sequence, that it has a yesterday and a tomorrow, and it has a 40 years back or 40 years ahead. It is not. There's no continuity. There's no sequentiality in time. And this can be a real big step for you, because everything that you do, is rooted in time. You said, oh yeah, I did that 10 years ago, or oh, that was yesterday, oh yeah, we had such a great time, blah de blah de blah. Well, there is your temporal association. You just fixed yourself in time. You see how natural it is for a human to do that. Now this is a habit that can be undone, and basically it is like the same as what we read in What is Salvation. It's like it is not a doing; it is a release of the doing. So you don't have to pick that idea up. You don't have to associate as you have been used to. So this comes back to you. But the most you can say about a thought that you had or are having now is what? It is gone. And here is the key. Yet your perceptual mind is holding it in the tolerance of your own genetic association, thinking that you are a son of your father and a son of your mother, thinking that you are a genetic entity, like literally born in an bodily association. Yet your perceptual mind is holding it in the tolerance of your own genetic associations and presenting yourself objectively in time, in association with your own projected thoughts. Now, this is, well, of course we go into this many times. It is like you literally put things out there and let that respond to you as if they or that tells you something new about yourself while you put it there yourself. See, this is the amazing thing that you can't put your head around as a human being, because you think like, no, there's somebody else there who like, I'm upset because this person said something to me that's really upsetting to me. And then it's like, no, you actually put it there because there's nothing outside your consciousness. It's all happening in you, within you. And you project it out there and it comes back to you. You literally placed it there to confirm the identity of who you believe to be. Like, if you would recognize it for what it is, you wouldn't even respond to it. And that's an amazing thing. Like, you could feel that you're being separated if somebody didn't respond to you, right? So if you do that in your awakening, you come to a point where you see like, I don't have to respond to any of this. I'm so much aware that this is a dream, and that these characters are literally not there, that they are over, that I perceive them, but they have no reality whatsoever. For sure is what they say or what they do not a fact. It's not something that's going to actually do something to me. When I see myself as the Christ mind that I am, and I recognize everyone to be, because it's all inclusive. There's nobody out there. Recognizing that I'm the cause of my perception, that I'm the cause of this world, I'm the cause of time, I'm the cause of every aspect in it, and I only see that outside myself until I receive it, until I see, oh no, it started here. No, nobody's doing anything to me. I cannot be a victim of the world that I see. Like, that would be literally impossible. So this is really good transformational material to work with. So there was a lot of keys today in my consciousness. So here's a key. I thought this was a great key too. Yet your perceptual mind is holding it in the tolerance of your own genetic association. See, Master Teacher uses all these words. Genetic association is like a body with genetics, with DNA, with a inheritance. You know, it's like, yeah, there's a whole evolution, in fact, embedded in every cell of your body, and you believe that to be true if you believe yourself to be a body. But you're not a body. Now, then the question comes up, what am I then if I'm not a body? Like, I've been walking around in that thing, I was born in it, and now I'm not supposed to be that thing? What am I? And that's exactly the question that we want to be raised in you. Lesson number 1. Nothing in this room, in this world, this is A Course in Miracles, of course, nothing in this room, in this world, in this city, in this place, ever means anything, or will or ever did mean anything. You have a fear of releasing your sequential mind, because if you did that, you would release your sequential mind, you would wake up in heaven. Can you see? Like, what can be restored to sanity is your, in fact, the truth of you is already there. So the release of all temporalness is where the healing takes place, of what the healing is, in fact. So if you don't confirm these sequential thoughts, the thoughts related to time and space and body and yesterday and tomorrow, then you would end up in heaven. You would literally say, spring into heaven, as Master Teacher would say. You would spring into heaven. Like, your mind becomes whole because you're not fragmenting it into things that it isn't. Lesson number 2. No matter how tempted you are to believe it, there's no communication going on here at all. None whatsoever. I'll give you the sentence. Communication, to be real, must be whole. See, that's another key. Communication, to be real, must be whole. Partial communication is no communication. Now, then immediately the question comes up. What then is communication? If it is whole, it would be total. There's no partial communication. So what are we doing here? Like, are we communicating wholly here? Are we completely coming into an experience of the truth of who we are, recognizing that there's only one of us? Well, that certainly is the invitation. That can happen each moment. We allow that to happen. Like, no, this is the only thing that's going on. And there's a pure, perfect communication taking place exactly as we speak, and all is included in it. There's nothing left outside of it, and this is what it looks like. Like, it doesn't have anything else. It doesn't miss out on anything else. It's literally you communicating with the whole of you. Here's another one. The problem is not solvable. Why? Because the relationship is based on duality. The problems that you are perceiving are based on duality. Like, I don't like that. I wish it was like this. I have a conflict. I don't like that person. I hope that I never have to see this one again. Or who knows what you think. It's like you experience problems, and these problems are not solvable because literally you perceive the problem in a place that does not exist. So because the relationship is based on duality, or the idea that somehow you are separate from each other. Well, if you perceive a problem, you think the other guy, so to speak, is separate from you. However, can this problem solve? It's impossible. All you really end up doing is correlating previous thought associations in group context and maintaining a distance between yourself in association with what you think the other projection is. Can you see that? Well, if you cannot grasp it that quick, or you think you miss something, it's like turning on the news, you could say. It's like it's always group forming, like you want to come to peace, and the countries want to come to peace. And what do? They separate themselves off as separate, as opposing forces, in duality, in literally there's the bad guy, here's the good guy. And this can never come together this way. If you don't recognize that you're one and that there's no such thing as separation, you start to communicate as one. What do you need for that? Releasing every idea. You don't need another way or more missiles or something in order to facilitate it, or more soldiers on the ground keeping the peace or something. It's like, no, there's nothing to do with it. Like, even on a broad scale, it is still it's like it will never work that way. Recognizing that you are connected, which you do recognize that you are connected. And that's why it's so hard to, in fact, reject the other guy. It's a lot of work. You have to do it constantly, otherwise you don't believe in it anymore. And that's a paradox, right? That's also totally opposite of what you have assumed as normal in this world. You are perfectly communicating with your brother. What do you place in front of it? Your opinions, your ideas, your this, your that. You release those and you spring into heaven together, recognizing it wasn't worth discussing this. It wasn't worth fighting over this. It wasn't worth killing each other for it. There was no reason to do this at all, recognizing that we're one with another. And I don't need a Nobel Prize for that. It's just common sense. It is literally what you feel. You know you are one with your brother. That's why you feel guilty. That's why you think there's a reason to build up some kind of rhetoric, some kind of opinion, some kind of attack to separate yourself off from your brother. So you have to play that game in order to continue perpetuate the problem. The problem isn't solvable. Now that's a beautiful example, but it's like, how actual is that? It works that way in every respect. So in every relationship that you have where you experience conflict, or every thought that you have that you think hurts you, is actually you separating yourself off from the perfect communication that is happening right here, right now. At no single moment is the body real at all. All you did was bring it in your own past associations and project it from it other past associations that are always gone. You're always gone. You're gone. That's another key. Like, you're gone. You're gone. Yeah, I'm going to stir it up and bring it back into my memory and hold on to it. It's what you do as a human being, based on the previous associations, and project that association into the future. And what's going to happen to you? You'll get old and die. And you can't get old and you can't die. It's impossible. because you're not a body. There isn't any such thing as death. If there's such a thing as a body, if there's no such thing as a body, how could there be such a thing as death? There's no such thing as a body. So if there's no such thing as a body, like in your consciousness, what could possibly die in your consciousness? Like how do you stay alive now in your consciousness? This is interesting to take a look at. Like how do you stay alive in your consciousness? How do you do that right now? Do you do anything for that? No. You say like, no, I'm present here. I'm present here. Does that have anything to do with the body? No, it does not. Will it ever end? No, it does not. So that's fun to take a look at. It's like if you see yourself as a body, you miss the step that you're consciousness. And this we know, we have heard this before. But then it has a lot of consequences. So there's nothing that can die about you. There's no such thing as anyone dying. That would only be an image. That would be an image of a dying body or a dying someone. Well, that could never be, because nobody ever was a body. And that's so amazing. It's like, that is an old idea. And you use it and project it, and you use it, in fact, to separate yourself off from your brother. Just like the whole thing that you do. It's like, there's perfect communication as one consciousness in this universe. It's whole and perfect. There's nothing lacking about it. Now I come with the invention of a body. I have to separate myself off. And I come with a conflict that isn't really solvable. But I found some other guys that are actually, say, part of my party, and we're going to fight against the others. And this is how I take time to be in time. But of course I basically I'm recognizing that it doesn't have any reality. I know that. You know that. That's why it is so full of effort to do the things that you do as a human being. Totally amazing, isn't it? Even to make an idea true as time, it takes so much effort. Photo albums. You have to take pictures of what happened yesterday to rely on it, so that you have a memory of yesterday and bring it back in and say like, oh yeah, we had such a great time. It was this and this, and now I have an entity. Like I am being an entity in time, with time-related ideas, and hopefully I have a couple more years to enjoy. I can go all kinds of places to have more memories, to build more memories. It's literally what you do as a human being. You're focused on it and you think like that but there's an active denial. Can you see how active that is? Basically, that comes back in the talk of Master Teacher. It's like, you're so actively denying truth that it exhausts you. It literally kills you. I love it. I love to take a look at it this way. Look at what you're doing with your mind. You're holding yourself in a static relationship with previous thought forms, constituting yourself in a form of reality, so that as you produce new cells, you can command them from your own genetic association to be sick. Otherwise, how the hell would you have cancer? Like, how would you do that? You can't have cancer if you're producing new cells. Unless you're producing cancerous cells, you cannot have cancer. And why would you do that? Well, it's like you're holding yourself in a static relationship with previous thought forms, constituting yourself in a form of reality and holding yourself to it. And you command them to be sick. I said it the other day, it's literally like you make a decision to become sick, and you don't maybe consciously remember it right now, but you certainly can go back to the point where you actually did that. So this is hardcore transformation. Here's a key. There appears to be conflict here. Now, here's the direction we must take, and it's fundamental, psychological, basic teaching. You are the cause of your own pain. That's the first determination. The whole teaching of A Course in Miracles is that you are the cause of this. You are doing this to yourself, but to yourself. So that's really the key. You are doing this but to yourself. Because, and you have a reason for it. It's like you do this but to yourself because there's no reason to do what you do. If you let go of your doings, if you allow yourself to be undone, you recognize that you're home in heaven. Key is here, there is no communication going on at all. If you think there is, you're wrong. You might just as well look at it. The reason that wholeness knows not of this world is simply because it is whole. Obviously, God doesn't know anything about conflict, sickness and death. The Course says, you really think that when you came here to the world, into this world, the world was waiting for you to act with it and interact. Wrong. In lesson 132 it says, you brought this world with you when you came. Salvation is change your mind. Like you brought this world with you to engage with it, literally to become the one that you think that you are. You used the world because you brought it with you and kept it with you. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't chosen death. There's not one single thing that you do here in so-called time-space association from beginning to the end that is not a protective device against your apparent annihilation. Like you actively say prepare yourself for your annihilation, and actually you defend yourself at the same time to it. You don't want it to happen. You try to avoid it to happen while you have invented death. The key is, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Now what the hell are you doing? What are you going to do? I'm offering you an impossible solution in an impossible situation. Okay, well, good. So this was the warming up, you could say, for this, which is totally amazing. It's like, obviously, is the defense against the truth. That becomes very obvious. How do you do that? By being a human being, by defining yourself as a human being, by protecting yourself as a human being, by confirming yourself as a human being. That's what you actively do. When you let go of that, when you allow that to be undone, where do you find yourself? Of course, where you belong. You find yourself where you belong. And that's the place where we meet, in fact, where communication is whole and perfect, the place that you actually know, but are actively denying in your human association of yourself, in your human definitions. Now, how could ever that be a sacrifice to give up? That is insanity itself, thinking these things. Like, it would be insane not to hand this over and allow yourself to spring into heaven right at this point. That's the teaching. So, okay, well, the next step, we're going to listen to, I think, 25 minutes or so of Master Teacher teaching this, what we actually looked at. And he does that in his very own way. And there's a lot more that I didn't bring in, but it's great to have this warming up and having your ears and heart and mind wide open to receive this. So let's do this.
It's important to remember that this is a course in the redirection of your perceptual associations. The first requirement would be to release yourself from the bondage of the previous self-identity that has brought and turned it on. So that the miracle can happen. This is A Course in Miracles from a whole mind consciousness out of time, eternity, directed specifically to you to bring about the miracle reassociation of your attack and defense modality. By that manner awaken you from the apparent separation from wholeness and love that is the certainty of your constituted reality. It is a required course, and I mean it in a literal sense, not in a figurative, possibility, perceptual sense. Obviously, if you are in sickness, pain, and death, and you have established that as a manner in which you consider yourself to be an association, that is life, you're going to have to undergo a reassociation or a discovery of your own reality. And that's the miracle. The purpose of this gathering is to present to you the Course in Miracles from the perspective of the certainty that God is, and this isn't, in any manner. The problem that you have had with the Course in Miracles heretofore has been indications that somehow the manner in which you have transcribed yourself, that is, in a perceptual relationship or a concept of self-association or ideas, can lead you to a miracle experience, and it can't. The Course in Miracles is a course in the relinquishment or the loss of your perceptual associations, much as the Eastern tradition of detachment from yourself. It's an imperative if you will look at your associations with yourself as being figures of projected illusion within a time framework. Everything I'm going to say to you is in the text of the Course in Miracles or in the workbook. I will say nothing but that. I will direct you to nothing but that. If the vernacular appears to be subtly different, tolerate that, please. Because it's important at this point to subtract you from your previous perceptual concepts, first of all, of what A Course in Miracles is. A Course in Miracles is a course in enlightenment, or your awakening from your own concepts, your own associations. Okay? That's the requirement. The technique of doing that is to give you a provision of reassociation that is beyond your perceptual association, literally a miracle, a happening that transcends your previous identity with yourself. Until that occurs, how would it be A Course in Miracles? If you are the miracle, and you are the miracle. Okay? You're not making miracles. You're not comparing yourself in your own ideas about yourself. You are a miracle. You are God creating. I can't show you what love is because that's what you are. I can show you what the obstacle of it is, and that's you in your perceptual association. How simple then is salvation? But how difficult? Since the constitution of your makeup depends on your identity in your previous form associations. As you're sitting here, as you are. And you are in a position of defense of your mind as constituted in what you term objective reality. Okay, this is a message to you that this is not real. And the easiest way to look at it is to look with certainty that objective reality is not true. There are not separate source emanations. God mind, universal mind is singular, and you must be that. Now, if you'll start with that premise, it'll help you a whole lot. Because obviously you are in a dualistic association with what constitutes your reality and are holding yourself in the bondage of your own self-identity. Everything that I'm going to say to you tonight will now appear very reasonable to you because it is reasonable. If the conflict is only in your mind, the solution is don't defend yourself or forgive your associations with your previously constructed images. Are we all okay so far, miracle workers? Is this what we do? We're going to forgive them. Okay, now at the time that it's necessary to forgive, you have obviously taken on the bondage of self-identity, rejected it or cast it out from yourself, all right? And literally believe that someone is doing something to you outside of your control or that is not under your direction. This is not true if you're going to teach A Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles is a course in absolute, positive, unequivocal, subjective reality. There's a lovely sentence in the Course where Jesus says the preoccupation of conceptual mind, of self-identity of the earth, is the problem that you're experiencing here. We're not interested in it. This is the key to you advanced teachers. You listen to this. We have no concern about what your concepts are. It makes absolutely no difference what your concepts are if none of them are true. And this is the core of the curriculum. There's no sense in comparing with me one association with the other. Neither are so. And this is somewhere in the text. The next sentence reads, perhaps, what we are interested in is that you can think, that the mind thinks and can then choose and make decisions based on its frame of reference. Here's the problem. If your frame of reference is constituted by past associations, you will rely on them and must rely on them to direct you into the situation, the correlation of the situation in which you find yourself. And you do that. Okay, this is the time when Jesus begins to use the word insanity or insane. Obviously, the most you can, I'll give you the sentences. There's no such thing as a past. Okay. No matter how tempted you are to believe that time, as you have invented it in your mind, is sequential, it is not. And this can be a real big step for you. Why? When you come in here and sit down, you'll be more willing to release yourself in your association from the previous constitution that's brought you here. Okay? These are the first 15 lessons of the workbook of the Course in Miracles. Lesson number 1. Nothing in this room, in this world, in this place ever mean anything or ever will, or ever did. No. You have a fear of releasing your sequential mind. Because if you did, you would wake up in heaven. Can you see? Okay. Remember that the distance between the conceptual thoughts that you are having is what space-time is. All right? But the most you can say about a thought that you have or are having now is that what? It's gone. Once more. The most you can say about any thought that you are having, a past thought that you have had, is what? That it's gone. Okay, here's the key. Yet your perceptual mind is holding it in the tolerance of your own genetic association and presenting yourself objectively in time in association with your own projected thoughts. Lesson number 2. No matter how tempted you are to believe it, there is no communication going on here at all. None. None. Okay, I'll give you this sentence. Communication to be real must be whole. Partial communication is no communication. You have struggled in your own perceptions to communicate with each other based on a previous frame of reference. It would literally be impossible for you to know everything about that association, yet you demand the attention and attempt to justify yourself in the association with the condition in which you find yourself. That's crazy. The problem is not solvable. Why? Because the relationship is based on duality. or the idea that somehow you are separate from each other. And all you really end up doing is correlating previous thought associations in group context and maintain a distance between yourself in association with what you think the other projection is. Can you see that? At no single moment is the body real at all. All you did was bring it in your own past associations and projected from it other past associations that are always gone. You're always gone. You're gone. You're gone. Listen, this old world was over a long time ago. You're gone. You're going to struggle with that, and you say, no, I can remember last week. Well, last week is gone, isn't it? Yeah, but I'm going to stir it up and bring it back into my memory and hold it now, all right, based on the previous associations, and project that association into the future, and what? What's going to happen to you? You'll get old and die. You can't get old and you can't die. It's impossible. There isn't any such thing as death. If there's no such thing as the body, how would there be such a thing as death? There's no such thing as a body. The skeleton frame that you identify as a body is less than 100 days old. All of it. There's not a cell in you. There's not an atom in you that was there a year ago. 98% new. I mean, literally new. Okay. Look what you're doing with your mind. You're holding yourself in a static relationship with previous thought forms, constituting yourself in a form of reality, so that as you produce new cells, you can command them from your own genetic association to be sick. Otherwise, how the hell would you have cancer? You can't have cancer if you're producing new cells unless you're producing cancerous cells. Why do you want to do that? The whole premise is that if there is a single universal consciousness, right, every single cell is all universal consciousness. Do we have some sort of an agreement on that? Sort of a quantum leap there. Okay? That it's all finally all the same stuff, which is God. You know, which is God extending or creating whole, and that's what you are. Remember this, every time you glitch creation, okay, you form a static relationship in your own memory. This is called the schism. This is what happened. This is called what you would call in Newtonian physics a particle. Quantum physics will lead you directly to Jesus in the Course in Miracles. All right? In quantum or quanta, which is a relationship of a particle and a wave, all right? One of the great original physicists, Niels Bohr, made a great discovery that it was a wave until you looked at it or began the experiment, and then it became a particle. That it was impossible that the experimenters did not influence the experiment. A lot of you are familiar with this. So he saw very clearly that it was a wave until what? Until you tried to observe it, and then it became a particle. At that point, he says, why don't you just stop observing it? That was not acceptable to the physicists, obviously. That's a great mind. He could see immediately that it was the self-observation that was causing the particle, or the lumpiness in what? In the wave. Okay? That's A Course in Miracles. Okay? You are in a condition of lumpy thinking, or projecting from you a particle through the identification of your own particleness. Okay? But at any moment you can be a complete wave by what? Not interacting with your own lumpy associations. That is, not demanding a reflection back in a material sense from what you have projected from your own mind. Key to this. Key. An idea never leaves its source. Whatever you are, can you hear this? Is all there is. Whatever you are is all there is. There is not another thinking going on outside of you. Okay, I'll give you the sentences from the Course if you'd like. You are the only living Son of God. God only has one Son, and that's you creating fully with your divine mind. You cannot not be that. There appears to be conflict here. Now, here's the direction we must take, and this is fundamental psychological basic teaching. You're the cause of your own pain. That's the first determination, okay? The whole teaching of the Course in Miracles is that you are the cause of this. You are doing this but yourself. No matter how tempted you are to believe that there is an objective reality out there that you are discovering, you are wrong. Do you understand that? I know you're tempted to do it, and you'll cast around in these flint minds, determined that you're going to grab all of these things and fit them together in some sort of a computer of knowledge. It's crap. It's nothing but your own projected mind in your own thought form. Key. There's no communication going on at all. If you think there is, you're wrong. You might just as well look at it. Okay. The reason that wholeness knows not of this is simply because it is whole. Obviously, God doesn't know anything about conflict, sickness, and death. Now, if you believe that the Master Divine Creator knows of conflict, sickness, and death, there's no sense in you sitting here. Because you're determined that somehow He is the cause of your problems, and that's been your problem. But most of you are past that, I think. But you do need somebody to blame. Somebody's got to be responsible for this place. Of course, you really think that when you came here that the world was waiting for you to act with it, okay, and to interact. Wrong. You brought this world with you when you came. Salvation. Change your mind. Is it within your power, okay, to, I'll use the term, miscreate in associations with yourself in your own self-identity? That's what you're doing. Are you capable of experiencing a miracle? Pertinent. See, if I can get you to begin to have experiences, my problems are over. Your problem is you resist the experience. We'll get into this tomorrow. I'll demonstrate to you what you need, what miracles are. Miracles are nothing but the reassociation of your own thought form in regard to what you think you are. You can use any and all means or devices, but I would suggest that you begin to stop trying to exchange with the apparent reality that's outside of you. It's obviously not going to do you any good because you've constituted directly to share and relieve you of the responsibility of the condition in which you find yourself. And it can only respond to you in the manner in which you wish to have the response. Is there a question on that? Somewhere you may want to question that. You try to get away with the idea that you're not responsible for it, but that's impossible. Okay? I know that's tough. It's difficult for you to believe that you have chosen death, but you wouldn't be here if you hadn't. In this so-called time association, from beginning to end, that is not a protective device against your apparent annihilation. Yet the key is, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Now what the hell are you going to do? I'm offering you an impossible solution to an impossible situation. As long as you defend yourself from what appears to be objective reality, you cannot see that you are the cause of the problem. Listen to me. This is the teachings of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Pure and simple. Don't resist evil. You see? Regardless of what you're presented with it, don't resist it. Ever. Never. That's A Course in Miracles. See how simple it is? Why? When you don't resist it, the miracle occurs immediately. Because projected thought form or objective reality is a resistance to your own creative purpose. And you have set it up specifically to limit your own self-identity and share that limitation with the projected unreality. Do you see? And you'll never be happy doing it because you're a creator. You're as God created you. Your mind is creating, right? And that's what you're doing. There's no question about that. The question is, what is the result of your creation? The result of what you are doing with your mind is the earth as you see it. As long as that's okay with you, you won't let it go. And when it's not okay, you will let it go. But remember that, as Jesus says in the Course, no one can stand pain indefinitely. Somewhere, sometime, you're going to have to look at the impasse, the impossible situation that you're in. There is no solution to your problem. There is no solution to your problem. There is no solution to this problem as you have constituted in your own perceptual mind. It is not real. There can be no solution to it. Jesus in the Course. We are dealing with an impossible situation. You will now trap me in my contractual associations with you and demand recognition for your contraption, what you call your spiritual quest. Okay? If you're looking for God, why don't you just find Him? You want it from the Course? You're very much afraid of finding it. You lose your identity if you find it. Got an authority problem. You think you made yourself. Well, you do. You're standing here somehow defending and protecting yourself and in your own associations, aren't you? And you're absolutely right. You have to be or you wouldn't do it. See, there's no sense in arguing with yourself. You have a tendency to kick that out into perceptions and pretend you're not doing it. You're doing exactly what you want to do. Many of you have an idea that you could actually die. I know you think that. But what the hell kind of a life is it that's based on annihilation? Did you ever really look at that? What's it like to be dead? To be annihilated? Are you telling me that in all the universe, here you are caught in this little place in space-time, and that life is based on not being annihilated? It doesn't make any sense. It's senseless. I know you're determined to obliviate yourself very simply because you can't stand the conflict of your own perceptual relationships with yourself. You use up all of your time memories. Don't you? You are in a species of genetic association that demands a correspondence of time association and will literally be used up in the karma drama of your own mind at any moment. Jesus says you tread your pitiful little way through a world that's absolutely in your own dream, constructed by you in your own mind, and it has absolutely no reality at all. None. That's this Course in Miracles. Obviously, this is all it says. But somebody had to tell you that it's okay to believe that. Because you have to start somewhere with the assumption that this is not heaven, that this is hell, that somewhere in your own mind you're caught in this and can't find a way out. Okay? That the solution is not here, because the solution is not here. If you have never found the solution before, what the hell gives you the idea you're ever going to find it? You're not really looking for it. What you do is satisfy yourself in a temporary association with what you think you are and get cancer and get old and die. That's crazy. It's nuts. It's senseless. Don't do it anymore. How do you get old again? Help me. Think with me. How do you get old? Your mind doesn't get old, does it? How would it get old? It's all new anyway, never mind that. But what do? So you remember old thoughts? and you identify them with the thoughts of your body. You give your body control over you. Well, Jesus says that's just crazier than hell. There's nothing crazier than that. You let your body, in your association, tell you how you are. You actually let this pump, this beautiful pump that's going on here, is suddenly going to stop and you're going to die. That's crazy. Why don't you tell it what it is? Tell it it's a whole beautiful thing working perfectly in coordination with your mind. Will it work? How the hell wouldn't it work? It could not work. What are you? The proof that it doesn't work. You get into the Christian vernacular, the idea of the resurrection will lead you to the same thing. Jesus rose and everything went with it. And this is not so. Okay, period. This whole teachings of the Course in Miracles. This is over and done. One man did it, it was done. Who was that man? You. Positively. It's over and done. How could you be the residual to the resurrection and be real? You couldn't be. It wasn't real in the first place. Well, I'd certainly like to believe you, but it sure seems to me that I'm stuck. You are, too. You need a miracle. But you keep trying to identify it. You insist that somehow you can correlate it in your own mind, don't you? Somewhere you're going to give it an identification, like you do God. No concepts are ever so. Form has nothing to do with content at all. You'll use 1,000,000 devices to give identity to that form. You'll build giant computers, monstrous things, all with separate forms that will correlate with each other, that literally have nothing to do with thinking at all. There is no thinking connected with it. It is one form in association with another form, neither of which are real. See it? Can you see it? If it was never true, if this was never true, all right, the result of this could not be true. Okay? It's the same idea as if you'll admit to me that this is past, that your mind is past, the result of the mind that you're bringing here to formulate a future couldn't possibly mean anything. Isn't that so? What could it mean? It's already gone. Here's the key. If you won't destroy by your perceptual associations the continuity of time thought, okay, if you won't destroy it by taking pieces and hunks of it and projecting it, if you'll simply stand still and release that, you will experience what we call in the Course a holy instant. Quite literally, if you'll stop associating with your projections, all right, an instant of wholeness of your own mind associations will occur. And hell, you guys are doing this all the time. That's what you're doing. I know that you then reassociate it and demand further evidence of yourself in your association. Okay, but if A Course in Miracles, and if you'll take the workbook tomorrow and start with lesson 1, I'd be very surprised if you could get to lesson 7 without transforming and being in heaven. I don't know why you wouldn't, if it's over and done anyway. Okay? Start with lesson number 7. Okay, this is all past. Okay, and that's why thoughts don't mean anything, and all the things that it say. That's why you're frightened of this. That's why this doesn't mean anything, because it's already gone. Unless you don't want it to be. See? Okay. Now, for some of you, the necessity to associate love, which is wholeness and God, creating you perfectly, timelessly, forever, with sickness and pain and death and anger and greed is a requirement. Okay? And until that begins to get intolerable to you, you will not hear this. You might just well look right at it. You look at this. You can't hear it. Because what? You're always solving the problem. Is that so? Each moment you're solving the problem. I'm not interested in the concepts of it. Listen, I don't care how you're solving it. I don't care whether you're solving it in love, in hate, in anger, in pity. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. You think you can tell the difference. That's sick. That's too bad. You think you can tell the difference between pain and pleasure. We're not concerned about that. What we're saying to you is that the perceptual mind is continually solving its problem because it must in order to exist. It has to defend itself from its own associations. Okay? It's not real. You say, well, how did I get into this? What the hell difference does it make if you're in it and you want to get out? When you say, how did I get into this, it simply means you don't want to get out. You're just defending yourself in your own association. So this is a course for people that are sick and tired. It would have to be, if you look at it, it has to be a course for people, that are looking at this and saying, well, this is futile. Most of you, when you were 14, when you went through your adolescent schizophrenia, demanded an answer to the problem, and everybody said, shut up, that's the way it is. And you looked right at it and you said, well, this doesn't make any sense. No matter what I do, I'm still just going to fend off death, and I'm going to die, and I'm never going to know what's happened, and I'm caught here. And they said, that's the way it is. So what'd you do? I don't know, cut your wrist, I suppose. You couldn't stand it, right? You just said, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be here. Oh, come on, you can do it. Stick with us. So now you've stuck with them. And here you are, in exactly the same dilemma as you've always had. An attempt to correlate the perfection of your own mind with the obvious sickness and death that you're seeing here. Okay? They cannot be adjudication because there's no adjudication necessary. There is no conflict. Well, I certainly wish I could believe you. Well, it doesn't make any difference whether you believe it or not. What's the key to it? Salvation is beyond belief. What are you going to do? God, tell me what God is like and how you are and that really? That's just silliness. Let God be God. Many of you have used the mechanism of I can't do this. A lot of you have used the mechanism of unmanageability. Okay. I'm powerless. I can't do this anymore. There must be some other way out of it. And I'll turn my will over to that, and the problem will solve for you. That's A Course in Miracles. Isn't it? Those of you who are familiar with the 12-step program. 12-step program is the first 3 steps of the Course in Miracles. The steps of the Course, or 12-step program are what the Course in Miracles is. I'm powerless over this. I'm addicted to it. I can't stand it. Everything I do isn't doing me any good. There must be another way out of this. It's not constituted in here. I'll turn it over and go for it, and the miracle happens. Those of you who have overcome what you term addictions in that manner will understand that it was a miracle that brought that about. All I'm directing you to is the more determined you will be to see that you had nothing to do with the recovery, the quicker you'll get out of here. The more, and Jesus really teaches this. He says, don't help us. Don't bring the solution that you think is the answer to your problem into it. And those of you who have had the miracle, when you know that everything was impossible and it was the worst it could possibly be, I'm speaking from deep experience here. I can't do this, and had the problem solved for you, experienced a miracle. And you're very willing to let it be a miracle until somebody in your past demands that you take credit for the association. And get into some sort of therapy that can help you hold on to the resentment that held you in the bondage of your own associations in the first place. It's exactly what you're doing with the Course in Miracles. You're seeking to hold on to the identity to bring about the miracle. But the miracle is the loss of, or your inability to solve the problem, or the loss of your conceptual association. Isn't it? That's how the miracle works. How else is it going to work? Isn't it okay if it's a miracle? Okay? I'm giving you the reason for it. If you've projected the thought form and are protecting yourself from it, if you don't do that, you'll undergo the harmony of the reassociation of your own mind. What's wrong with doing that? That's nice to do that. This is your world. The shadowy figures that you have brought with you here, that you have named in your own mind, that are products of your own mind, are here for a moment in time to verify your association with being here. They are not real. There's no reason why you advanced teachers of the Course can't teach this. I'm teaching this right out of the book. These are the exact sentences. You must start from that premise. There's no requirement that you believe it. Do you see? But there is a requirement that you say as you're constituted, I can't solve the problem within this premise. There's got to be another way. Will the miracle really happen? I don't understand the question. You are whole and perfect. See? This is the miracle. Because that's all there is. There is nothing but this miracle. Okay? Everything and everyone in the universe knows this except you. Come on. Come on. Okay, the sleeping mind doesn't know that, but remember that it's not communicating. It can set up all of these things and attempt to communicate and then feel the frustration of objective reality. You demand a response from the association, and when you don't get it properly, you have the conflict of your own mind. Boy, that's a hell of a way to be in. No, you're the cause of this. For a lot of you, this is much too uncompromising. Okay. Somehow you say, I know, but I'm here and I'm doing this, and that's true. And you have the power to stay here, and you have the power to do the things you're doing. And you listen, there's nothing in the universe that can stop you. Nothing. Nothing. God obviously doesn't know anything about it. Yet the power of your mind, okay, which is God creating, can bind you in that time association if you want that to be so. If you want that to be that way. Okay, there is nothing sensibly in the universe that could possibly stop you from communicating with God right now. As a matter of fact, it's the most natural thing that you could do. Because you are as you were created. The problem you have is you look for confirmation of what I told you in your associations, and it's not there. The associations are designed to keep you from communicating. You want the sentence? The associations of perceptual mind are designed specifically to keep you in time and from communicating with God. They have been set up as a protection, as a veil, Jesus calls it. He says, whole cities will arise in your projected mind, and you'll see this. And it's not so. None of it is so. None of this is so. You can reach your hand here, right now, right through the veil and be in heaven. It's right here. All the separate ones stand in one little tiny spot, and they call that time. Okay? Not so. Not so.